it was like not only was the podcast too forced, and obviously I was being made to do it because of the unban,
Exactly.
but like it was fucking nobody wanted to do it either. And it got to a
No.
point where I prefer doing these one-on-one podcasts, right? Because it gets a little bit more intimate, you get a little bit more personal. And because the people that I was doing with it weren't as fun to do it with, I
Yeah.
got more people involved. And
Yeah.
then I just had 4 people at once.
Yeah, I saw that.
And it just became like constantly asking questions, ask you, ask you, ask you, next question, ask you, ask you, ask you. And it just became boring. And that's the issue
It
with VL sometimes is that there's not enough personalities. It's a nicer community, but there's no big trash talking knobheads, and sometimes they make for good content.
yeah, definitely. That's the thing I said with like Bauer. Like he's such a personality. But it seemed I think you had him on your past podcast, didn't you?
I put him on the Let It Rip power rankings, but I've not got him on the
Yeah.
podcast yet.
But the thing is, I'm not sure if he's just introverted or however it is, but it seems like when he's in general, whatever, he just goes really hard, like bam, 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 whatever, whatever, whatever. And when you put him on the spot, he's like, I'm not sure what to say or whatever. It's like, ah. It's definitely fun watching it.
Well, that's the thing. That's just the nature of age, innit? I mean, we're all. How old are you, by the way? Like 20?
23,
20
22
23?
actually,
Oh, 22.
22.
I'm also 22. Look at that.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah, actually, yeah.
I actually thought you were older than that.
Everyone
I think it's
thinks I'm older,
it's because of your haircut, man. It's
and
because
also
of
the
your haircut.
hairline. Yeah. Yeah. Everyone thinks I'm older. Everyone thinks I'm older. I don't know what it is because like Wavy is like 24, 25 or something, and
Really? I
he
thought isn't he like a Finnish doctor? And
no
I'm
Wavy's
not sure.
English.
Yeah, but like I mean, a doctor. Isn't he like a
And I
medical
think it's
doctor?
medical something, but I
Yeah.
think he's a nurse or something. I don't know. He'll he'll shout at us later, but he's not. I don't think he's finished his qualifications yet, is what I'm saying. So I think he's
Mm,
still midway through, but I think he's like 24, 25, and he thought I was older than him.
yeah.
And it's the
I
same
think it's
with like
yeah.
I think Franklin thought I was older than him as well, or something like that. Everyone thought I was like 28. It's like nah, I'm fucking 22, mate.
I'm not sure why that is actually. I think it's because the way I think it's with the way that you're handling stuff. Like
Like, what
I'd
do you
I'd
mean?
like to because I think you're very you're very much the way that I think of things. Like you're very you do not take part based on the charistica being involved, but you take part in discussion based on the facts that you're given. Like a lot of people would say thinking about my band and whatever would be like giving me the finger, be like, oh yeah, you smurf, whatever.
Yeah,
But when you think about all the factors which I thought of was like, yeah, I'll never be on band. It's just whatever. You set yourself in the point of the other guy, like hell,
yeah,
like
yeah.
so you're not only just thinking of the violation that was done, but also the reasoning behind it.
Well,
I think.
that's what I want the admin team to be able to do, though,
Mm,
because it literally makes zero fucking sense why you're banned.
yeah,
To me, it literally makes zero fucking sense. You broke the rules, yes, but
definitely.
the 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 restrictions have now changed. It's like saying, and this is a weird analogy, but it's like saying that the age of consent for sex was 18, right? And you were 17 and had sex with a 17-year-old, right? Which is fair enough. I
Yeah,
lost my virginity when I was 15, so like 17
yeah,
is fine. But and then the age of consent changed from 18 to 16.
yeah. And then you're still
Y-
penalized.
Yeah,
It's like
but there's a reason that it's yeah. Maybe that's not the best example, but I
I
don't
get
get
what
it.
you mean. I get
If
what you mean.
if there's a platinum league and you're a platinum player, you should be
And
able to
you're
play in it.
exactly like you're a platinum player smurfing in gold, and then it's open up for a platinum league. Like, why are you still banned for playing in that specific league? I know it's because of previous historical things, but like, what am I gonna do? To be fair,
Yeah, like there's the
and
you can't just live on that level of regret. There's if they gave you something to do to say like you fucked up, now do something to make up for it.
And possibly
That
doing
that
that.
that would then be a situation to do, and that's fair enough if that was what they went for. If you fucked up, but yeah, there's no reason to not unban you, but you still fucked up, so now do this to make up for it.
Yeah.
I mean, the best way to do that, and the easiest way to do that, would just be say, okay, Agratah, you're not allowed to play until like the end of this split, or I suppose the next two splits because they're shorter splits now. But that's not what they do. They just say, nope, see ya.
Whatever. Yeah. That's the
Especially with
thing
this
where
Chewy
I'm like,
situation.
yeah, Jewish situation. I think also Jewy is I think it's very much in between you and I kind of ban. In the terms of your ban being very meh. Like if you think about it, it's like meh, why would you really be banned? And mine being like, yeah, he just obviously smurfed. Like mine is just there's not really anything to put behind.
Yeah.
But I think it's fair in the sense of him having the potential to reach diamond easily. No thought in my mind that goes against it. Like obviously, Dewey could easily make diamond.
Well, this is
But
something. Let me show you a picture of something real quick.
mm,
I
go
think
for it.
I find it dead interesting. Let me try and find it. Hang on. Let me take a look. It will be somewhere. It's like the rank averages. Hang on.
Huh?
When I send you the picture, you'll fucking understand what I mean.
Go for it. But nevertheless, I think the personalities within League or in within VL is so very um not necessarily wrong, but I think it comes with a lot of privileges. You remember when the league was like until gold 4, right?
Yeah.
But that was when everybody was gold 4 and silver 1. And then as soon as the league was opened up, then all of a sudden a lot of the known people, which was known to be good, hit gold, platinum.
Yeah.
It's like where do you draw the line, right? Like last was gold 4, uh, admitted to being sandbagging or whatever, and then made it to what P2 or something like that.
Well, yeah. He last was the best example because it went from a gold 4 to a gold 1 peak, then immediately to a plat 4 peak, and he just matched those peaks. Now it's a plat 1 peak, and I think he's either plat 1 or plat 2. And it's just like,
It's very XD because that guy obviously has another account,
do you
and
think?
yeah, I'm gonna put that out there. I do think he does. Not necessarily bad, but I think he just does. Either he has an account or he just limits himself very hard on whether to do whatever. And the same goes for Endeavor. Like I like Thomas. I like Thomas's personality or whatever, but I think the judgment of him is very fucking biased. Like what he has ranked anxiety. Ranked anxiety. He is scared of playing ranked games. He was literally sitting in his gold 1 promos for like half a month with 2 victories, that is.
Yeah, two victories just waiting. Yeah,
He
it
was
is a
literally
weird one,
sitting
isn't it?
for over it's just very XD-ish. It's like I don't think they should. Also, the thing with the Laudio also shot up from what silver 1 or gold 4 until something
Well, Lordio's a
very
weird
high.
case because I'll defend Lordio because he was a gold 4 AD carry for Seven Deadly Sins. He was one of their gold spots.
Yeah, then he turned to jungle, right?
Then he moved to mid lane for Team Elite, and it just seemed like he had the mechanics, he just didn't have the knowledge. and
Okay.
gradually he built that knowledge. He played with Endeavour, then he played with the team, learned from Looney, and because it's weird because he's an older player, and usually you find because I think he turned 30 like yesterday or the day before,
Wait, how old is Rani?
like 23, 24.
Okay. Oh well, okay, right. Actually, I haven't seen Laudio. You don't know. I have seen Laudio.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, fair enough. If they're in love, they're in love. I don't give a fuck
Yeah,
about
obviously. Like, do whatever you want.
that. But
Obviously.
he usually you anticipate the older you get, the worse mechanics you get, and the smarter you get at the game. His
Yeah.
mechanics seem to have just stayed the same, but he seems to have just gotten so much more intelligent about the game. Like when I think about Lordio who played for Team Elite in the Shell 1, and then Lordio who plays Jungle for Plague, it's
Yeah.
a different kettle of fish. It
Mm.
really is. Because he's very similar to Ruben now in the sense where Ruben's got good mechanics, but you don't. It's not the mechanics that make Ruben a good player. It's the knowledge of when to use the micro, which is
Yeah.
something that some people you might not understand, but it's what I'm trying to say by that is macro is what map position to make, what moves to make as a team. Micro is how you play the moment, as in.
Exactly.
So it's like, should I make a trade here? Is micro. How you
Would be
make the
smart.
trade here is mechanics.
Yeah.
And I feel like Lordio and Trululu, they're they're so built into this micro understanding, which I don't think really anybody's got in VL.
But
No,
let's be honest. There are
not to
also
the
the
degree.
what is Lodio's peak?
I think P2.
Mm.
Is it or maybe plat 4? But he's somewhere isn't is not diamond and is not gold. He's somewhere in plat.
Yeah. But let's be honest here. Laudio was whatever Gold 4 when the Gold 4 league was a Gold 4, right?
Yeah.
Now he's all of a sudden P2, right? And you're
Let
saying
me actually have a
his
look.
knowledge has improved vastly. And Trululu is also a
Cholulu
very
was always a
special
plat
case
player.
because
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Because I think both of them could easily hit diamond. Obviously, playing the correct champ and playing whatever.
Well, Lordio is now plat 4 with a negative win rate. Looking at his OP.gg. However, looking at his
Oh, okay,
KDAs and stuff, you'd expect him to do better.
okay.
Like in his last 5 games, he's won 2. The 2 games he's won, he's gone 8-1 and 16-1. And out of the 3 games he's lost,
Better jungle wins.
he got 2 aces.
Mm.
So it's like he's clearly not doing badly, and I can clearly see the 3 games he lost were Lee Sin, Silas, and the games he won was Graves and Zach. So it's like clearly the mechanical difference. But yeah, he's clearly a good player.
Definitely. I just think that like what how do you think the community would react if like we catch like Trululu or Lordio red-handed, being like, "Bonk, yeah, you just smurfed really hard, right?"
What if they
Do you
like
think?
had an account which was diamond the whole
Yeah,
time?
yeah. Do you think the punishment would be like, "Yeah, you're just permanently banned"?
That's a good question. Because
Lordio has so much history within VL. Oh, let's just say it for the fun of it, right? Let's say if Rani has a diamond account, right? Like would the
let me
VL
answer that
admins
one
be
later.
like, "Fuck you"?
Let me answer that one later. Let me because that one's ridiculous.
Yeah,
Like that one's
obviously,
ridiculous.
obviously,
But with those three, with Last Lodio and Ruben, right? If they had a diamond account, I think they'd be banned for the rest of the split. And then I think next split they'd make a diamond league, and those three would be allowed to play. That's genuinely what I think would happen. And I don't think the community backlash would be big. I just think they'd be like, "Wow, what the fuck? Centurion deserved to win last split." that's all that's all that would be said. But
I agree. I think it's very the entirety of VL is very
actually no, maybe not because I've just thought about it. because that's from my perspective. But then if I was to look
Yeah.
at it from Ice's perspective, and I think me and him are antithesis of each other, he would
Mhm.
say that these three players have ruined VL for the past year and a half
Yeah.
and ruined the competitive integrity for a year and a half and deserve to be banned permanently because of that. They have single-handedly, or it's three of them, but single-handedly ruined the experience of everybody else in the league for 18 months.
Yeah. I think with Ice, I see
He's not alone, by the way. When I use Ice,
no
he's just the example. Most people agree with Ice before they agree with me.
Ice and like Bauer and some of them players is like very anti Smurf, like Silverback. Like if you
Yeah.
Smurf, you're like the devil's descendant. Um, but I think Ice has a point in in the sense of yeah, obviously it's been wrong for 1.5 year, right? But I don't. Yeah, I'm not sure.
Because it's a
Like
weird
I
middle
think
ground, isn't
Ice,
it?
yeah, because I think Ice is very smart. Like obviously he's a really smart
Yeah,
guy,
it's intelligent,
and
yeah.
his opinions is also very well explanatory,
Yeah,
right? Like
they're
they make
informative. You
sense.
understand, yeah,
Yeah,
they make sense, yeah.
but I think his opinion is very harsh.
Extreme. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, yeah, extreme. Like
He wouldn't say he's extremist with his opinions because of how informative and
exactly.
intelligent he is, but
Yeah,
sometimes his opinions do seem extreme. Yeah, I agree with that.
exactly. So like sometimes you'd be like, "Yeah, you shut that guy up." Like shot him, and you'll
Yeah.
be like, yeah, but that guy was like he was looking to feed his family and whatever. So it was not because he's necessarily was like, yeah, you know what, fuck you, bang. But it was because that was different factors within it, which was not necessarily him being hard-hearted or whatever.
Yeah,
So I think he's good enough in the way of him thinking and putting things together, but his thought is sometimes very unchangeable.
yeah,
Like he's not opening up to see others' perspective.
because maybe he's one of those people, and I think a girl that I'm talking to at the minute is pretty similar.
Woo!
Way is where they're very open-minded until they
Mm.
have an opinion on something. And when they
Ah,
have an opinion on something, it's closed-minded. So if I was to put a philosophical question to Ice, he would answer it perfectly. He would judge
obviously.
everything
Yeah, exactly,
and make
exactly.
it
That's
make a
what I mean.
make a very well intelligent
Yeah,
opinion. However, if I was to ask Ice a philosophical question, not even just a question on something he's already got an opinion of,
yeah.
he would answer me in 2 seconds.
I agree. That is like dead on. What it's just
Yeah,
right on the nail. It's like straight up that. If it's something affecting him, then he has a really clear answer. But as long as it's something philosophical or whatever, then it's like a very well organized answer and so on.
but I find you get a quite similar response of a lot of people in VL.
Yeah,
Like there's just this because Silverback's another personality which is I've
yeah.
still not wrapped my head around yet because I think
He's.
he's evolved so much since he's joined. Because
I think so too.
he joined as a dick, and I hated Silverback when he joined.
Yeah,
Legit, I just
I can get that.
him joining was the downfall of VL in my opinion at the time. I was like,
Yeah,
if this is what it's turned into, and then he won as well, and it was just like, oh for fuck's sake! Now he's got legs to stand on as well. He's allowed to act like this, but in the past, God knows how long, I now respect and like Silverback as a person and a player. So it's changed. But I think that's the thing that VL's got is the community is so good. And I think
yeah,
that's why people might want to Smurf in VL and be part of VL as a community, is because it is the best community that an amateur league in the European scene has ever seen.
probably.
I don't.
Because
I
I
don't
was.
think probably. I think definitely.
Yeah,
It's survived for what 2.5 years from since I've been around. And I
yeah,
know Ice, Rani, Hashi have been around before me, so maybe 3.5 years.
Yeah.
and then the rank limitations just force it to be the way it is. But there's what's your opinion on the tent situation?
On the what
Tent
situation?
situation. Do you know Natural Summon Killer's tent? The guy in, cause obviously the Luke, the tent
Oh,
situation.
tent situation. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah. That situation is just, it's just people one-upping each other is how I feel it.
what do you mean?
In the terms of Luke being, in my opinion, he's kind of a weirdo
Right.
in the things, in like the way he acts around other people in like Twitter, like liking posts of, when I turn 18 I'll send nudes whoever likes or something like that. and
Yeah,
and obviously he's being 17, so that obviously means that he wants to see pictures of a 17-year-old. But him just like having pictures of him being shirtless with his wiener out with like the star or whatever around his penis is just, in my opinion, he's just a weird guy that in real life I would have absolutely no interest of talking or being around.
yeah.
But then obviously Brits being Brits, sorry Trigger, but like Brits being Brits, be like, yeah, I'll take a walk around and I'll probably shack him down. Yeah, mate. Yeah, fuck yeah, mate. Or whatever. It's like, it's just one upper each other, and then Luke taking to Wavy being like, "Oh yeah, what's your surname?" Buh, 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 buh. It's just playing hard versus playing hard. So I think if you're like playing hard, being like a big boy, it's like, "Yeah, what's your surname? I'll come shack you down, yeah, mate." Then like
That's so accurate, but yeah, go on.
it'll be like, yeah, obviously it's not allowed within VL and being nice to each other and no death threats and whatever. And obviously the entire thing should be taken with DMs, but I do not think that DMs should be taken into account because it's without VL. It's like me and you having real life beef, right?
Yeah,
And me going throwing toilet paper on your house and then them be banning me from VL is like, those two do not even match up. Like,
yeah.
you and me having real life beef is not the same as you being banned from VL. It's like, you can't. There has to be a limit from where you draw the line, right?
I think we've actually got a very similar view of it all then. Because for
Mm,
me, I personally wouldn't ban either of them because, yes, that's what's happened. They're both very egotistically driven alpha males that when they clash, they clash.
yeah.
And someone has got second hand offended by reading it and says, I don't like this person, let's get them banned. And they've both had to be banned because of it. And
I think the
I don't
ban.
get it. The thing, the thing for me is you don't want that to be said. First off, it's not even been said in VL. It's not been said in VL. So if there was any sponsorship conversation that could be had, and they've scrolling through the history of every message ever said, it's not even been said in there. It's been said in trash talk, right? That's the
And why
first
would
point.
you put VL trash talk as a source of VL? To be fair, like, like
Yeah.
you could just do like this. This is none of our business.
I mean, no,
Like, if
even
you're
that I
looking at
think
VL
is an
as a
extreme.
business,
I think that's too extreme because when you view VL as a business, it becomes heartless, and heartless isn't right. But what you can do is, as an admin team, is care about the people in the community, which is the
yeah,
reason why that ban happened.
yeah, obviously,
But the people who got banned are also part of the community, and I think that gets forgotten sometimes. Is that they could have turned around to them, realised, listen, the majority of the admin team is English. They fucking knew what was going on. You knew what was going on, and you're not British. So obviously everybody else knows what's going on. They just realised that this has gotten out of hand. It's alpha males that have just clashed. Let's just talk to them individually and just say, this is a warning, don't do it again.
yeah. But that's the point where which I said like 2 hours ago, being like just very very open about the situation. Like, whatever you're doing, like, just send a swift ass DM to Tent and Luke, being like, whatever you're doing right now is punishable. and we will punish you very hard if you do continue this shit.
Yeah.
And if they continue to be like, we want you, and they could literally snip that and be like, this is not okay. We will not approve of this.
Yeah.
Bonk.
I
And
agree. Yeah.
if they do that, then that is it. What it is. Like it's just not punishable. But one thing is going into VL, one thing is going into VL trash talk,
Hmm.
but a third thing is going into DMs, where it's like that you have nothing to do there.
Yeah. It's a weird situation, and I'm of the opinion that other than John Wick, because just fuck John Wick, unban everybody else and just start again. And if Amy joins and starts drama, they've had enough warnings. You're banned.
I
Banana
think
comes, starts too much drama, you're banned. You come,
I
turns out you've got a diamond account, you're banned. You know,
mm,
it
but you can always make that point, to be fair. Like when is it time to reset, you know? Like
now, in my opinion.
yeah, but like when let's say if Wavy is like next split, he'll start smurfing, right? And he'll be like
Well, he
bump
would
bump bump
have to
bump
have been
bump.
smurfing the whole time, surely.
Yeah, exactly. But then why does we have to get unbanned if he cannot get unbanned, right? Why does it have to be on our terms?
So this would be what I said. Okay, so say if Wavy is a Plat 2 player, right?
Mm.
And we catch him.
Yeah,
Wavy, you're banned. Fair
yeah,
enough. Then it's how long is he banned, and that's the question, right? So
yeah.
Wavy's been in the community for ages.
He's been around because he played with Paxlow
Yeah.
whenever. I think what was it? Something white? Not sure. Anyway,
Checkmate White,
ages.
maybe. Yeah.
Yeah, probably.
So it was. So he's been around the community for a long time and broken the rules for a long time.
Yeah,
So that needs to be taken account of the punishment. But let's also take into the account he's been in the community for this long and is now a benefit to the community. He's a good voice in the community. People like him. People want him to be part of the community. He makes everything interesting. He makes it better. He makes VL better because he's in it as a
yeah,
personality. And for me, that's a very important point. And those two points almost balance each other out. Now he's a plat player, okay? So I'd say,
yeah.
Wavy, you're not allowed to play for this split. Is that right? Okay. And because of the shortness of the splits and the duration, I'd also say you're not allowed to play for next split either. Is that right?
Okay.
Okay. But after that, you're allowed to play as a plat player. That's what I would say. I don't
I
think there
think
should ever be a permanent ban.
no.
Ever.
I would agree to how this is very opinionistic, but I think how the way that Val in the terms of his ban did it of
What do you
like
mean?
Val only banned for 1 year, I think, or like one season or whatever.
Right.
Like he never made like permanently banned
Yeah.
player. I think that was right in the sense of being people obviously improving personality wise.
Yeah.
Because just the case of not being a permanent ban changes a lot of things, at least for me, because that was the reason why I smurfed the second time around, because I was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm
Well, exactly. That's
permanently
a
banned.
perfect. That's a perfect reason. Yeah. I mean, I joined VL when I was 19.
Yeah,
Now I'm
same, I
22.
think.
So it's well, I joined CL when I was 19 and VL, and then now I'm 22. My brain process will not go the same way.
Yeah, you're not
And
thinking about the puss all the time. You're another person, man.
I still think about the plus a little bit.
Facts, 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 facts. But you know,
But yeah, I just wish to take that into account, and I think that the three most active voices in the community on every decision that's made is me, Silverback, and Ice. At least historically speaking, I find to be the
on
case.
decisions made.
Yeah, on decisions made, the backlash, or while a decision's being made, it's usually me, Silverback, and Ice, which maybe not the pivotal, but the loudest and the most likely. Maybe there's more that I'm forgetting, but
No, I'm just thinking of. I was thinking of Lordio, but he's not a like. Whenever there's a punishment, he's just muscled. He just muscles up
Yeah.
every single time. He's very. I don't know if it's just the age coming to effect. He's just like, yeah, that's not of my deal or whatever.
He
But
gave
I
a bit
think
of a shit with Looney, I think. With
did he?
Looney, I think with Looney he defended a little bit. Last
Mm,
went to the extreme, but with Looney he defended a little bit. But obviously
yeah,
that was to do with him. That was PMA. That was the team that he was in. So everyone, if I was to get banned tomorrow, I'd imagine the entirety of CNC and CNA would defend me. At least I'd hope so.
yeah.
just to make sure that that was the case. But yeah, I think it's usually us three, and
I agree. I agree to that point actually.
I think
Maybe, maybe maybe Kuchi, because he seems very outspoken whenever there's anything really. And Bauer's just trash talking, so I wouldn't really say it as a as an opinion or whatever. It's just he's just chatting shit for the reason of chatting shit, whereas Kuchi seems more well informed and well spoken. I think.
maybe. I don't know if I've still just got this perspective of him being as young as he was when he first
I
joined.
think
Maybe that's
he
why I don't
is.
respect it as much. But I can't imagine the admins looking at anything that Couchy says or Cucci
No,
says
I agree.
and just takes it into account. Whereas I
I
think
agree.
the admins might care more about me, Silverback, and Ice's opinion on something, just
Ice
because
is really well regarded in the admin team.
100%. But I think he
Like
should
he.
be. Even though I disagree with fundamentally most of the things that he says, most,
Mm,
not all, but most, I understand that I'm so fucked up in the head and my opinions are so out of the blue, blind, and I can explain them in the same way that I was able to convince you that Rek'Sai was better than Jarvan, and then you got an insight in your head and says no, Jarvan's better at the moment. In the
mm.
same way that I can do that thing, but we need Ice there to be the opposite and for us to be the devil and angel on the shoulder and say that
I
kind of
think,
shit.
yeah, I think that's probably a correct perspective. But I think it's very funny that you bring up you being fucked up in the head. Because I do think, Drager, that you are a very smart personality. And I do think that a lot of people who play games is smart in and out of game.
Also, people who
But
play games like League of Legends are intelligent just naturally.
yeah, I
Right,
would
okay.
say so because they have a way of thinking quick in the situation and is most likely going to look at it on a um, unopinionated way, right?
Yeah.
Um, so I think a lot of the things when I see you in VL general, I'm like, the fuck did you just say? Um, well, I was like, what the fuck are you doing, Draker or whatever? But I think I think you are very much smarter than you do persuade yourself into being or imagining yourself being.
Well, see, this is the
Because
thing because there's two stages of me, right? Prior to me at the moment, there's me thinking that. Let me tell you, before I go on this story, I used to think when I was in primary school, so when I was like seven,
I'm
8
here
years
to
old.
chill. Go for it. I'll just lay down. You can tell me your life. I'll just chill out in my couch.
This is a quick thing, but when I was year 7 or 8, no, when I was
Yeah.
age 7 or 8, I used to think that I was the only human being on the planet and everyone else was an alien, part of some crazy thing where they were all in it together and it was just me trying to battle through everything. And I've
You
spoken to other
remember
people
the
about
film?
this.
You remember the movie where the one kid was in like I think it was an orb, and it was like a TV show, and the same thing would happen sometimes, and the one kid was in like not like a reality show, but like a constant one, and he was just in this like environment where it was like an orb, and he was the only real person or whatever. But I think
No, I've
that's
not heard
very
that.
normal actually of
Yeah,
kids.
yeah, but that is a relatively normal thing. But that links to this thing later on, where part of me thinks that I am the most intelligent person on the planet. Now, obviously, that's not true. Based off just simple intelligence of what you know, I don't know more than people. So I'm not the smartest person on the planet. But part of me thinks that why am I able to comprehend information, understand information differently to everybody else, and in a way that seems more advanced? I must be smarter.
Yeah.
But then there's situations that come around where someone will present a problem and I just cannot understand it in the way that everyone else is understanding it. So
Yeah.
when this coronavirus outbreak happened,
Okay.
I'll put my hands up and say, I don't understand it. Why are the people that aren't infected or that aren't at risk
Yeah.
staying at home? Why don't just the at risk people stay home?
Okay.
Because if the at risk people just stay home, then they're not interacting with anybody. And then the
Mm.
people who can just infect it and just live their normal lives, it's fine.
Yeah.
That was a selfish outlook, and that was me just not being able to understand. That was my logic. And I was like, well, yeah, but the at risk people, they need to go to the shops. In the shops, everyone's going to, everything's infected. They get it. They can be at risk. Those at risk people, they live with people that aren't at risk. So then I'm like, well, why don't the at risk people and the people who live with at risk people don't go to work? It's like, what if they live in these situations or they work in these situations where they've got to go? And it wasn't until I spoke to a combination of Wavy and Joycey that I understood that actually, no, I was wrong.
Yeah.
And it's this weird balance that you've got to find where, yes, there's some things that I understand to a level that maybe other people don't get what I'm saying, but also other people can say things that I can't understand what they're
Yeah.
saying. So when I'm fucked up in the head, I mean that because I am fucked up in the head. But so is everybody else. Oh, the only difference is I'm not a copycat of anyone else in VL. I find some people in VL are copycats of each other, and I don't have time for them. But yeah, I'm fucked up in the head. But I'm not ashamed or afraid to say what I mean.
Yeah.
But everybody else is fucked up in the head as well. That's the way that I view the situation. So when I spout nonsense at 3 o'clock in the morning, that's the shit. Ugh.
I think I think you're I think you're generally a very smart person, Trigger.
Thank you.
And sometimes I'm not sure if you just do not hold yourself back or if you're just like, fuck it, I'll just say it anyway. It's like I think you do think about the things that you do say, and I do think you're a very smart individual. But sometimes it's like somebody's just going inside your head and pressing the fuck that button. It's like it's sometimes you're saying the things about some girls or you're saying something about the pals or whatever. Where I'm like, why the fuck would you even share that, or why the fuck would you even say that?
Well,
Well, I'm like,
the logic is that so I'm thinking about something in my head. I'm dealing with a problem in my head, right? It's to
yeah,
do with a girl, to do with friends, to do with real life, whatever it is, right? Just any kind of thing. I'm dealing with it, and then I discover something in my head. It's like, wow, I've answered the problem. I need
yeah,
to tell someone about this. But I don't want to talk to my mates about this problem that I'm having with a girl in case sometimes I will, but there might
yeah,
be a situation where I don't want people that I interact with on a daily basis to know about this shit. Or a girl that I'm speaking to, I don't want them to know about this shit.
yeah.
VL, I don't give a shit. As I
Okay,
said before
so
with
it's
Vindicate,
like your
my
outlet.
yeah, my reputation's already bad and open enough that I can't make it worse, no matter how
Okay,
honest I am. So VL is just my diary. It's my
okay.
diary with open feedback. And then you get people like Kraft, and Kraft is brilliant for it because he'll just respond to any random question I've got. And you'll find it sometimes if you look in the chat about 4:30 on a Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. in UK time.
Yeah,
On average, I've thought of some crazy question to ask, and that'll spiral a conversation that lasts for ages, and it just will do. But that's the reason. It's not this fuck it button because what a lot of people forget is that everyone in VL has got a life outside of VL. And VL is this, for some people, it's an escape, but for most people, it's just a hobby, right? And
yeah.
for me, it's sometimes my diary. So general chat is just like I just need to get shit out there, and that's what I do.
Yeah.
And people say, "Didn't ask."
Yeah, pretty much. But the thing is, like, I think I think you're a very smart individual in the terms of I could easily see myself hanging out with you, or I
Hmm.
could easily see myself being around you or coming to you for advice because I think you evaluate situations very well, and I think you take a lot of things into account. And then on the flip side, I sometimes see you do things where I'm like, what just happened? Like it's like did you just flip the switch and the other X trigger came around or whatever?
Yeah.
Um, but I generally think you're very smart, and but I think half of you is me in the terms of I'm only interacting with VL when I've like thought the process through or
Yeah.
whatever. I'm not really just like letting go of the handles and let the keyboard talk for me, you know. But yeah, I think it's really interesting in terms of I think we have a lot of the same opinions or the way of handling situations.
Yeah. It's a process thing, I think, isn't it? It's not
Yeah,
the thoughts, but it's the way that we process thoughts, which I
exactly.
find are quite similar. Which might be why we've went down a similar path. I mean, me smurfing as Vindicate wasn't the only infraction that I did. It was before that I sandbagged. I smurfed in completely because I was a gold 4 player. But it
Yeah.
was maybe it's an ability to convince ourselves that what we're doing has a valid reason. And then by proxy, we can give valid reasons to other people, which might be where other people disagree with us. So, for example, I can give you a valid reason for smurfing in VL.
Yeah,
I,
yeah.
I can understand why, and I can validate it. Whereas other people just can't validate it.
Yeah, like if you take Bauer or Silverback, which is just like anti-Smurfs into oblivion,
Yeah,
they'll never be able to see the thought process because they think the one thing is so bad.
exactly.
Yeah,
And you can understand their point of view, but it's
yeah,
just
obviously,
not our thought process. And at
because
the
they
end of
do
the
not
day,
take different things into account. They only see it from the one perspective of it being bad, and they're not seeing it from the personal way.
no, but maybe they do. Maybe they do see it from our way, but so I can see it from their way and our
Yeah,
way, but I agree that our way is better. Maybe they can see it from their way and our way,
they're just
and agree
our
with their way is better. And maybe it's just that. And in
yeah,
which case, how do you administrate that?
yeah,
How
true.
how how do the admins decide which way is right? Is that your girlfriend being annoyed that you're on?
Yeah, pretty much. You just came back and being annoying as per usual. Anyway, it's been a I'll yeah, you're very sexy, honey. I know. Yeah, nice ass. I'll probably hop off and I'll giving her some attention. It's been a pleasure, Trigger, and if you ever need me again, I will gladly hop on the podcast with you.
Bro, sounds good. Catch you later, Agratah. It's been fun.
When are you uploading the podcast? Actually,
As soon as it uploads.
I'm very intrigued. Anyway,
But
I'll see you later, Trigger.
catch you later. Bye.
See you.